In the final part of my 4-part series, I want to focus on the one person who can make or break your photography business. You. It's hard to believe that it's already July. 2022 is flying by, and now is a great time to reflect on the last 6 months to see how our businesses have grown, as well as consider our 2022 goals to see where we may need to adjust our strategy. For tips 16 through 20, I want to focus on personal growth and development because the hard truth is that success in business and in life begins with how we view ourselves and what we believe we can accomplish. Although some of these final tips may seem cliche or existential, everything here is based on my personal experience. Once again, I want to give special thanks to my friend Richard Wayne for all of his help in creating this 4-part series. Number 16, you must believe you can do it. Back around 2017, I was having a career crisis of sorts. Although I owned a successful business, I had a part-time job as a college professor. I had recently completed a doctorate degree, I owned a home, and I had a beautiful family. In other words, I was living the dream. I felt sort of empty inside and like my career was stuck and that my decision to study music was a huge mistake. There were other factors which were involved as well, which I needn't get into here, but as a young man entering college, I chose music over photography, although both were more or less equal passions in my life at the time. And now I found myself, over a decade later, feeling like I missed the boat and really regretting some of my life choices. It was around this time that I started learning about portrait photography. And I remember telling my wife that I wish I would have pursued photography as a career instead of music. And I felt like it was too late to change anything. I had this sinking feeling of doubt and regret mixed with bouts of depression. And I didn't believe I had the talent or the ability to become a great photographer at that point. It really felt like a dead end and like it was too late for me to start over. Now, there were many things that changed between 2017 and 2020, but the real substantial change started when I changed my mindset. It wasn't until I started to believe in myself as a photographer and also as a business person that I began to succeed. I realized at some point that I was able to accomplish anything as long as I was willing to put in the time and work on the skills necessary to become successful. So, if you don't believe you can be a successful photographer or a successful whatever, you're right. You will do everything in your power to create the reality that you already believe in your mind. So my advice to you is to listen to that voice in your head very, very carefully and make sure it's not sabotaging you. All of us struggle with negative thoughts and self-doubt at times, but successful people learn to recognize the negative thoughts and replace them with positive ones. More than that, they plan short and long-term goals and they vigorously pursue them regardless of the periodic negative thoughts that every single one of us will experience. Back in 2020, I was days away from selling all of my photography gear and completely giving up. And I'm so glad that I didn't. And although I have a lot to accomplish with my business and my career, and I still have a lot to learn in photography, I'm now doing things that I didn't think were possible just a few years ago. And if I can do it, so can you. Number 17, get a mentor. A key to success in any industry is finding a mentor that you click with and whose work inspires you. Now, in my personal journey, mentorship has been an integral part of my growth. Anyone who reads my articles or watches my videos knows that my mentor is Peter Hurley, and he has truly been instrumental in helping me take my hobby and turn it into a viable career and business. When I finally decided to go all in and make photography a real part of my career, I took advantage of every single opportunity I could to study with Peter. I've attended multiple headshot intensives at Peter's studio. I've spent countless hours being critiqued and watching Peter critique others in weekly crewcasts. I've photographed as many friends and family members as I could to hone my skills. and I submitted photos constantly for critique on a regular basis. I did all of this. If you're feeling stuck as a photographer with a lack of focus and direction, my advice to you is to find a mentor and to make sure that they are very successful as an artist and a business person. Number 18, learn to accept criticism. Truth be told, finding a great mentor is the easy part. Listening and implementing what they say is much more difficult, especially for those of us with large egos. And let's be honest, photographers can be some of the most egotistical and self-important people on the planet. In my experience, they're even worse than musicians, and that's really saying a lot. In the years that I've been studying with my mentors, as well as in mentoring others, I've noticed three basic kinds of people. There are those who listen and accept constructive criticism, making it their job to improve their work at the very next shoot. These are the people who grow at an exponential rate as photographers, and sometimes within just a few months, they're cranking out incredible work better than many who've been photographers for decades. Then there are those who hear criticism. Note, they hear it, but they don't listen. And they immediately explain all of the reasons, which are really excuses, why the mentor is wrong. I've seen it over and over in mentoring sessions. These are the people who interrupt and say, I know, I did X because of Y. Or, well, my client had this or that wrong with them, and I couldn't get the photograph right because of what they were doing. Or, I don't see what you're saying, and I disagree. I think it looks good. So these people are always full of excuses, and they really don't listen to or apply the wisdom that's being given to them. Or if they do it very, very, very slowly. And because of this, they barely grow. Finally, there are those who can't accept any criticism at all. And these are the people who are immediately offended at the slightest criticism and end up attacking those who are trying to help them, many times with personal insults or by insulting the work of the mentor. In short, this group of people is completely unteachable because they know everything already. Ironically, the most successful people I've met and worked with in photography and in music are always the most humble, always noting how much they have to learn and never feeling like they've arrived in their art. If you really want to grow in business, in photography, and in life, learn to accept criticism and to be your own harshest constructive critic. When accepting criticism from others, just make sure that they have your best interest at heart and actually want you to succeed. At the same time, ignore all of the other trolls and critics who just want to tear you down. They can go fly a kite, as my grandma used to say. Number 19, take a day off. For those of us who are entrepreneurs and naturally self-motivated, it's very, very hard to take a day off. I know for me, I'm constantly planning content, reading business books, tweaking my website copy. And in between, I'm checking multiple apps to see who commented and who subscribed and who liked and all this other stuff. I realized at some point that I was burning myself out and that something needed to change. And then it hit me. Scheduling one solid day off per week is not being lazy. And not only that, it's actually helped me to increase my productivity. This is because our bodies and our minds need rest in order to function at their highest level possible. And if you never hit the off switch, you're going to just crash hard sooner or later. So now, on my days off, I make it a point to leave my phone and my computer behind and just to be present with my family. On my last day off, we went to an art museum and I enjoyed looking at paintings and sculptures for extended periods of time, just observing how they made me feel. I couldn't believe how fulfilled, calm, and joyful I felt after leaving the museum with my family. I really did feel renewed. I also suggest meditating, reading great literature, or just going for a long walk in nature without any motive and without trying to force your mind to think about your next business move. Ironically for me, I also find that going out for a day with my camera to be extremely relaxing and renewing. But when I do this, I have no agenda, no goal, except just to enjoy the art of photography, either in nature or strolling through a busy city street or whatever. I find it to be incredibly therapeutic. We've made it to number 20. My last tip for you, whatever you do, don't quit. My final piece of advice in 2022 is simple. Don't quit. Whatever else you do, don't give up. I have had and continue to have many struggles, failures, haters, and trolls in my life, both online and in person. But this is part of the success process, and the people we admire as the most successful always have experienced failure. Usually, the biggest failure comes right before the biggest triumph. The next 6 months of 2022 are yours to make what you will of it, and the only person who can stop you truly is you. All right, everyone, thank you so much for watching this series and reading the accompanying articles at Fstopppers. I hope that you've benefited from all of this and that your business has seen amazing growth in 2022. And I'm going to link the other 3 articles below and the videos in case you've missed them. Till next time, have a great day, take some awesome pictures, and I'll see you soon. Bye for now.